to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sportsline Trivia. The first week in June, and it's lovely outside. The humidity's gone. All that other stuff's out of here. And we have lots going on in the city of Pittsburgh and environs tonight as we join you from Leechburg tonight for the show. We have a full group in the studio audience tonight. And joining me tonight, George Guido is alongside. George, welcome.
Good to be here tonight, Mike. Bob Tattern has the evening off. We may be hearing from Bob soon, but he has a well-deserved night of rest and enjoyment, and he can lean back. There's a lot to watch on TV. You have your choice of the Bruins or the Bruins and the Penguins, or the Pirates and the Atlanta Braves.
So there's lots of that going on, and we'll get into the Penguins here in a second. Kind of set the table with that. But before we do, for all you folks out there watching, streaming here tonight on a Monday night on your computers at home, let's get the rules and regulations up for you, and we can look at those. And let you know who can win. You can win a prize every other week per household. You see the phone number up in the right-hand corner, 724-236-0430. You can win a Grand Salami prize or the Mystery Profile once every calendar month. And you can try the Mystery Profile once every calendar month. One shot at it. And if you win, you're good. You're in. Multiple choice will give you 15 seconds to do it. Grand Salami, we give you 20. And the Mystery Profile goes clue by clue. We try to keep that one snapping along. First-time callers, 2 or more prizes for you with the correct answer, and we'll take care of you there too for the first timers out there. Again, doubledribblebob.com is where you can go. Bob's website, you get all the answers. We take care of you there too, so that way you won't feel disarmed if you're trying for the first time. You go to doubledribblebob.com and you can do that. And Bob's radio show, you can hear every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on WAVL 910 a.m. So. George, you were at the Penguin game the other night, so tell us what you saw.
Well, I saw a game that had to be frustrating for the Penguins. I can imagine it was tough to watch from the stands because so many times on Saturday evening, the Penguins had some opportunities. 4 times the puck hit the pipes and came back out, so that could have been 4 goals, a couple of inches one way or the other. But they they were in there. I think when Boston scored that 3rd goal, I think that was just about it. They weren't going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting though when you talk about the layoff that both teams have had over a week, and who is going to be sharp and who's not going to be sharp. I was looking at it from the perspective of a team like the Penguins who relies on precision, who scores a lot of goals and does those kinds of things, that the layoff might hurt them a little bit more. And
they weren't
son of a gun. You can't just go out there, and they had energy and all that. But here's the thing that would worry me. Now the faceoffs were a big deal. The Bruins won 2/3 of them, but the Bruins are a very good faceoff team, probably the best in the league.
We knew that going into the season.
Right, but the Penguins had the puck a lot, so I don't know that made a great deal of difference. But the thing that worries me is we know the Penguins have a little bit extra to give. But so do the Bruins, according to what Claude Julien had said in his remarks, I believe, to the media yesterday. So the Bruins are going to come a little bit tonight, too, because they know very well that if they somehow get up to a 2-0 lead on the road, that they're probably as good as gold.
Pittsburgh's really behind the 8 ball. Hey, before we take our first commercial break, Mike, we do have a live scoring update of a game going on right now. First round of the PIAA softball playoffs. At the end of 4 innings, it's Deer Lakes 2, Fairview nothing. Mike, Fairview is undefeated. They're 22-0 coming out of the Erie area. Deer Lakes, they lost their first game of the season the other day in the WPIAL championship game, so apparently they're playing much better today. But 2-0 Deer Lakes, end of 4 innings up at Penn State. Barron campus, the beautiful campus in the summer. In the winter, I can imagine it's a little challenging, but that's a fantastic venue for sports up there at the Penn State Barron campus outside of Erie.
So you're saying recruiting would be a little bit difficult for those guys up there?
Unless you like snow.
I guess. It'd be like recruiting people to Edinburgh.
Yeah,
kind of the
that's
same
true,
deal.
yeah.
All right, 724-2360-430 is our number. We're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back. We have a call lined up. We have people in the studio audience. We have plenty of hockey to talk about. We haven't even got into the Buccos yet, or Mike Adams' little incident on the south side. We want to make sure we touch on that also before we do it. So let's take that break. We'll be back with your calls right after this.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
At Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, you have the luxury of choice. Where you buy your vehicle is just as important as what you buy. Call Mike Fanto and let Tower Auto Sales experienced staff help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle. Remember the slogan at Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. Tower Auto Sales on Freeport Road in Blawnox, 412-828-6202. All right, we have a very familiar voice on the line. He took the night off, but he couldn't stand it. Hello, mystery caller. Enter and sign in, please.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, Bob.
Good evening. Good evening. This has been and I'm not calling to check up on you guys.
I understand.
But this has been probably the first year in so long where we've had to toss a coin whether or not you're going to watch a hockey game or a baseball game, because the Pirates generally were, maybe stinking up the joint.
By now, yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, it's been a pleasure to, kind of watch these, the Buccos come back, particularly when they're winning in either extra innings or what have you. But it's just great. We're a fortunate area to have two great teams.
I was talking to somebody about that earlier today, too, that usually this wasn't the case where you'd have to worry about one or the other. You might just check in on it during a break or between periods. You might flip over to the Pirate game.
See what's going on.
Now you're interested both ways, and that's a good thing. And the great thing is now you have the Pirates as your ace in the hole. That if the Penguins do happen to go out, then everybody's going to turn their attention over to them. And attendance has been interesting, guys. I wonder what everybody thought of this. That the Pirates' attendance is down, even though they're playing so well. And I really think that that the collapse, especially of last year. Yeah. Has a lot to do with that, and
sure does.
People were blaming the Penguins. I've heard some talk about that the Penguins now Saturday, sure, the walk-up's going to be hurt because there's a hockey game on, but most of the money that you make on baseball attendance is made on pre-sale, and most sports is like that.
Right.
So
season ticket holders and people, getting their ticket situation squared away before the start of the season. The Pirates didn't have that as much this year as they did the previous year because of that, and then they. During the midst of the collapse, Frank Coonley says everybody's coming back next year.
Everybody, and they raised prices.
And they raised prices.
And they took a few of the incentives away from ticket holders too. I can tell you that for sure. And I just thought it was interesting their timing on a lot of this stuff. I think that organizationally, they thought they had made a step that they really hadn't made yet. with the public, with the ticket buying public. I think that they thought, that, okay, we're in now, and it's a fickle audience out there, as we all know.
Sure enough.
So we'll see who watches what. The ratings, the numbers have been great for both.
Yeah.
Especially the hockey, and the Pirate numbers have been very good ratings-wise too. So
Well, tonight you get to start with the Pirates at about 10 after 7, and the Penguins aren't going to drop the puck till what, about 8:15 or 8:17, something like that?
yeah, they've taken the now the past 8 o'clock, and that takes you right up to about 11. So they eat the nice big chunk out of the prime time hour there for you. So that's
Now, gentlemen, let me give you a real quick story
sure.
on baseball after World War II. Reading a book, I can't think of the title offhand. I got it tucked away here somewhere. But to talk about pricing, when World War II was on, Mexico decided to raid the major leagues, get their talent, and it turned out to be kind of a battle. The commissioner stepped in and said anybody who defects to Mexican baseball, if they wanted to come back, there's a 5-year moratorium. So, make a long story short, some of the guys were wavering, and some of the veteran ball players spoke up and said, hey guys, we got to keep this game, the good players, right here in this country, and they're
I think we lost Bob.
We lost Bob. Does Bob have a drop call?
Well, at any rate, that's the difference between now and then. Now people are leaving the United States to go work in Mexico. Now it's the other way around.
Oh man, yeah, that's true. But now I wish we could get the rest of that story.
Yeah.
I was ready to go with that.
Yeah.
There. I did,
Now that was Kennesaw Mountain Landis as the commissioner. It had to be because Happy Chandler. No, Happy Chandler came in during the war, so it might have
right.
been him.
Happy Chandler was always the guy that, if you were old enough to remember, he was the guy in the blue Kentucky hat that would sit behind the dugout there at all the big events, the World Series, and playoffs too later on. But he was the commissioner for a while back in the 40s
and way into the 50s.
and way into the 50s. Yeah, he was a good old boy from Kentucky, Happy Chandler.
He was a U.S. senator from Kentucky.
He was. He was a big shot. And he lived a long life. He lived well into his 90s
yes,
too.
he did,
He was a very. Gee, we can't even ask Bob. Well, we can't ask Bob a question because he made them.
Yeah.
So we couldn't even do that. I was so willing to do that. Well, I'll tell you what. We have another call. I believe Limo Man is standing by. So why don't we go to him? And this is going to give us a chance to make sure there's nothing wrong with the phones.
Right.
So let's do that and go to Limo out there. Bruce, are you there? Hello.
Hello?
There we go.
Hey, there you are.
Good evening, Mr. Limo.
Who else?
Who else?
I
Exactly.
talked about you guys with Tommy Brenneman the other night.
Yes, they were in town, weren't they, the Cincinnati Reds?
He and Sean Casey did the game, right?
Yeah, I talked to Sean Casey at his house.
The mayor.
He is the
The
mayor.
mayor of Upper St. Clair, where the millionaires live,
That's exactly right.
especially the Jewish millionaires.
They're out there.
They're out there. Hey, I got to tell you guys something.
Sure.
I know Chris Bentley's a good friend of Bob's, but I wouldn't bank on anything he ever says because he's a big phony.
Oh, now let's not start hammering on the callers, Limo. Let's.
Well, he is. I can tell you.
Well, we'll
from
talk about
experience.
that. We'll talk about that another time. Let's get into sports, shall we?
How about Jim Leland, still a Bucks fan?
Yeah, well, you don't blame him, mate. Pirates gave him his big start back in 1986.
He made him a believer this week too, winning 3 out of 4 from. That's probably why.
He's really.
And he was written up in the Valley News.
Yes.
Yeah, he
You
said
see that?
he said nice things about their bullpen, and he still lives here. So
I know he lives in Upper St. Clair.
right, probably next to Sean Casey and Steve Blass. They all live together. The
I've
same
driven
block.
Jim Leland a couple of times.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I'll tell you, he probably doesn't want this out there. I saw him at the casino once. I saw him at the Meadows. He was just banging on a machine.
He still smokes in the dugout.
He was smoking at the machine.
Yeah, I bet he was.
One time, Burl was playing Bishop Canavan in high school baseball, and Jim Leland was at the game. It happened to be an off day on the Tigers' schedule, and he wore a bright yellow shirt. It's about as bright as the yellow in back of me here in the studio. And all of a sudden, you didn't see Leland, and you wondered what happened to him. The game was still going on. Then you saw these the shrubbery and arborvitaes in back of home plate, and you saw puffs of cigarette smoke coming out of there. So everyone knew that Jim Leland was back there seeking a smoke.
Was that the game that was at Highlands?
No, that was at Shaler.
Shaler,
That
oh,
was at
okay.
Matula
I saw
Shaler,
I saw Canavan play at Highlands. They played Burl in a playoff game. met John Meyer there, who was with Channel 4 at
Okay,
the time,
yeah.
and he's a Canevin grad.
Oh, okay.
And
How about Jim Kelly has cancer?
Yes, that's a shame. I heard that this afternoon. That's very sorrowful to hear. Boy, his family's had a lot of health problems, Mike, over the years. And great quarterback. You know, Limo Man, I saw Jim Kelly in high school playing basketball. In 1978, there was a state playoff game over at St. Vincent's in Latrobe. Jim Kelly was playing for East Brady. They were playing for Conemaugh Township, and one of the guards for Conemaugh Township was Jeff Hostetler.
Oh, jeez.
Both of them
my.
played in a high school basketball state playoff game, and at the end of the game, Hostetler had already declared for Penn State. All these Penn State people gathered around Kelly to try to convince him to come to Penn State to become a linebacker. Now, could you imagine how the history of pro football would have changed had Kelly gone to Penn State to be a linebacker
That would have been
instead of
something.
Miami,
I left
Florida?
a message at his house with his wife.
And how about this, George? They ended up starting a Super Bowl against each other at quarterback.
That's right.
That's amazing.
So that's the second
it's
time they
amazing.
played against each other.
I never knew that.
Really,
Yeah.
really, that's amazing. Yeah, we wish him the best.
Yeah, let's hope he has
It's a man
a
that- a
quick
man-
and complete
A
recovery.
man that knows Harry Beckwith personally, I suppose.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, and Don Sutton has DoubleDribbleBob.com. He does the Braves games on WTBS.
Here's one for you, Limo. Thursday night, June the 6th, Dodger Stadium. The Atlanta Braves are playing the Los Angeles Dodgers. It will be Don Sutton bobblehead night.
All right.
Yeah,
Now, does the bobblehead have his
my.
curly hair?
It does.
Okay.
I got an email today. It's like tickets are available. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get those, and we'll get out to LA.
we'll get out.
And we'll be right there for that. I'd love to have a Don Sutton bobblehead.
We're at Dodger Stadium.
It's at Dodger Stadium, yes, on this Thursday
Well, I'll
night.
tell you, LaCourte's wife's really cleaning him out.
What a mess that is still to
She
this day.
should be Jewish because that's what the Jewish brought.
No,
Hey,
don't say that.
no.
That's not-
Sounds Irish to me, but we're not going to go there.
And they love you two guys at the Smallman Street Deli with Jeffrey Cohen.
Which one?
The one on Smallman.
Okay.
That's
the
the
real
best one.
Smallman Street Deli.
Right, not the adjunct.
The one on Murray Avenue ain't doing it like Smallman.
I haven't been there for a while, but I have.
Oh, you
got
got to go there for a warm corned beef sandwich on warm rye bread.
Outstanding.
And get a Dr. Brown soft drink.
There we go. See? It's the Limo Fix Shop. All right, Limo, you ready for trivia here? We have.
I'm not eligible.
You're
this
not
year.
eligible.
You won,
You were,
that's right. He won that Saturday show. we
You
did.
were.
Yeah, I went to the Clarion and had prime rib
Oh,
dinner.
hello. That sounds good, huh?
Oh, it's wonderful.
We'll take care of you guys.
Okay. Hey, great talking with you.
Nice to talk to you again,
That-
Limo.
Now, he didn't give us his send-off.
No, he went though, because I heard the click.
Okay. That's all right.
Right?
Okay.
Gotcha. So, but we have a couple minutes before we have a break. I don't want to do it early. What do you think of the face-off situation? They lost 2/3 of the face-offs in the first game, but the Penguins seem to have the puck a lot.
Yeah.
And I heard Bob Airy today on the radio, and he was saying that maybe that's overblown. Maybe the face-offs are overblown. Now, I also heard that there's a possibility Joe Vitale might dress tonight, and he's excellent on face-offs. And I don't know who they would pull out of the lineup. I did hear possibility of Brendan Morrow being moved up to the third line, and Tyler Kennedy dropping back to the fourth line.
That happened in practice today.
And not only that, now that's one step ahead. That's one step before you're scratched, and you could see, I guess you could see that happening. But it'll be interesting to see. A fast start's going to be very important for them.
And I'd hate to see Tyler Kennedy be a healthy scratch because he has a penchant for getting some big goals.
scores
He did
big
that against
goals.
the Islanders a couple of
He
weeks
scores
ago.
big goals. Mike Lang gave a stat as I was trying to listen to the game the other night while I was at the Pirate game, and that I believe it's his last 12 playoff games that he scored 7 goals, and every playoff goal is a big goal.
Right.
So hopefully somebody's got to put the puck in it. The thing that worries me most about the Penguins, and people talked about the face-offs, and they talked about they hit a couple of posts, and the goaltending may have been this or it might have been that. They got to score goals. When they're not scoring, that's what makes me worry. They didn't score any goals. That's unusual. This is a team that puts the puck in the net on a consistent basis. They have to score goals. And
If Roos gets in a groove, you get the feeling where you can stop anything coming in. That could spell problems.
it happened in the second series with Anderson, that he got to the point where he had some confidence, but then they just busted him the next game, and they keep coming like that, and they keep coming. And the thing about the Bruins is the Bruins don't score a whole lot of goals, so You know, it wouldn't be dead if they lost tonight. I saw a stat, this is from John Butchergross of ESPN, that the last 8 series that the Penguins have fallen behind 2-0, they've won 5 of them.
Well,
but I don't think any of those. I don't think any of those they've lost the first 2 at home.
I don't want to take any chances.
I don't think they've lost the first 2 at home in any of those. I think they might have lost the first 2 on the road and then come back and won. So, all right, we'll take a break. We have open line 724-236-0430. If you want to give us a call, we can talk about that. We can talk about the Buccos, and we also have, we want to get into Mike Adams and a little bit of Steelers stuff. We had draft picks signed today. Yeah. So if film music would say, if you want to queue up early,
now's the time.
Now's the time. We'll be ready to go. We'll take a timeout quickly. We will be right back.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Tarentum and Freeport Road in Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
Our Sportsline Mystery Profile is sponsored by Mattio's Pizza and Subs in Brackenridge. Everything on Mattio's menu is made with quality ingredients, and that could be the reason people proudly pass the word about their great food. Hand-tossed pizzas, gyro sandwiches, subs, hoagies, calzones and strombolis, wingdings, and more. That's Mattio's Pizza and Subs. They have it all, including the signature Iron Man hoagie. Mattio's is located in Upper Brackenridge along Old Route 28, right next door to District Justice Carolyn Bengal's office. So stop in at Mattio's, and by the way, if any of you want to try the mystery profile, just give us a call at 724-236-0430. That's 724-236-0430. And we have studio audience member Paul with us this evening. Good evening, Paul.
How are you guys doing?
Hey, Paulie.
Great.
Yeah, I used to see Jim Leland a few times in Ottawa Park.
Okay.
Even,
with the kids?
Yeah, with the kids. And I think he still lives in Latrobe, or Ligonier out that way.
He may have another home out there, too, for all we know. These baseball men,
you're
get
making
paid enough. Yeah, he
$6 million a year, you can get a second home.
or a third, for that matter. Or a third.
Do you think there'll be another collapse this year, or do you think they'll at least win the division? I think they'll win the division.
Well, I think the thing that somebody has to break the news to management is that you have to win 82 games before you win 83 games.
Right.
They make a big thing about people being preoccupied with breaking the spell. I call it the curse of Randy Marsh.
Right.
There are other people who call it other things. But you have to, I want to see them get over 500, and everything I believe after that is gravy.
Right.
I agree with that. I think I'm kind of the other way. I'm kind of working my way backwards, and I kind of did this last year too. That okay, now that they've got off to this nice start like they did a year ago, and I have my sights set on the division first, and then I'm going to work my way back. Okay, then if it becomes obvious they can't win the division, okay, now let's see if we can make a wild card. And then if it becomes obvious that they can't make a wild card, it's like, okay, let's see if we can win 82 games. And then last year happened. And I was the person that was saying I didn't want them to win 82 games because the way they collapsed, I didn't think they deserved it. They didn't deserve to be the team that broke the streak. So I was glad they didn't make it, frankly. But you're right. They have gotten to the point, this group, that runs the team now, which I laugh about because they act like they've been there since the turn of the last century, and that this is all theirs. And and like I said, if I ever whenever run into these people, it's like I just laugh at them because it's I'm going to be there after you guys are gone. I'll still be coming to the games, and you guys won't own the team anymore. But they don't look at that. They completely dismiss that as if it means something, and it does mean something. It does mean something. It means something to a lot of people that have been around here for the whole 20 years of it. It means something to the fans, that even the younger fans that have just latched on here in the last couple of years, that have their baseball fandom has been awakened by this team because no one knew what good baseball looked like, and we've had a couple months of it last year, and we have a couple months of it again.
Mike, you could be a senior in college, getting ready to graduate, and Paul, just think about this, and you couldn't have never experienced a winning Pirate season. If you're over 20 years old, that hasn't happened in your lifetime.
Yeah, I did in '79, but that was many moons ago.
Oh, that was a fun time. Now, I went to Game 5 of the 1979 World Series against the Orioles. That was the night Chuck Tanner's mother had died the night before, and the Pirates were down 3-1 to the Orioles. And I had a great time, but little did I know that was the last World Series game that was going to be played in Pittsburgh in my lifetime. And I was 25 years old at the time.
Didn't Dave Parker hit a home run in that game?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I don't think any balls left the park. They went crazy. They scored 7 runs.
I can remember going to the game and telling my friend, boy, I hope Jim Rooker pitches a game of his life today. And he did.
I remember, here's mine from that. Getting the paper on Sunday morning.
Right.
And I still do it today. It's like they had lost a real heartbreaker in the fourth game.
9-8 game, yeah.
And the bullpen, then Tekulve imploded, and every pinch hitter that Earl Weaver sat up there got a hit.
Right.
So they're down 3-1, and it's bleak. And I didn't want to hear anything about it, didn't watch the news, anything. I went for college football or Penguins or whatever was going on the rest of that night. So I had no idea what the plans were for the next day's pitcher because it had been a secret, and Keeson had hurt himself. Keeson had a blister and didn't pitch. Wasn't going to pitch anymore, but that wasn't known. They didn't let that out of the bag.
Keeson had a bad game.
In the first game, it was really cold. He had a blister, and he couldn't feel the ball, and they fell behind big time. I think it fell behind 5-0. Ended up being a 5-4 game, something like that.
Yeah, game 1, I was at the Penguin game, home opener that year against the Jets, and the Pens won 4-2.
There you go. Okay. Everybody remembers this. So I get the paper on Sunday morning, open it up, and my dad says, "You haven't looked at the paper yet, have you?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Can you believe this?" Because he didn't like Rooker at all. And I said, they got no chance. I remember throwing the paper down on the kitchen table. I was like, I don't think I'm going to watch the game. Yeah. So this is the great thing about sports fans, tunnel vision. Turn my attention to the Steeler game, and they get blistered in Cincinnati.
Yeah, 34-7.
They get crushed by the Bengals in the Pirate games at 4 o'clock. I was like, this is terrible. This is good. This is awful. And then for something happened. I don't know what it was. And Rooker did pitch the game of his life. Levin came in and was terrific out of the bullpen. They won that game. I think it was 7-1. The Orioles had a 1-0 lead for the longest time. I think McGregor was pitching, or was it Flanagan? Can't remember. One of the lefties. It was Flanagan. They had a nice big lead. They were winning 1-0, and finally the bats woke up, and the place started to, the place picked up in intensity and just hit after hit after hit after hit they got, and they never looked back. The Orioles couldn't score after that.
Yeah,
I mean the Orioles, I believe they got 1 run that game. They got 1 run, shut in Game 6 by Candelaria, and 1 run in the 7th game,
2-1 or 4-1.
4-1. That was it. They just stopped scoring, and every time the Pirates play the Orioles in the World Series, the Orioles get the publicity for the best pitching staff, and the Pirates pitchers just shut them down.
Yeah, after Game 4, Baltimore was scheduling all these parades.
Yeah.
They canceled 3 parades.
Exactly. So it's it's funny. We sit here and all talk about it like it was yesterday. Yeah. Because that's all we got.
No, it was a couple hours ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's all we got. That's kind of what it was.
Turning into horse racing, who do you like? You have a favorite?
You know what? I haven't even looked, and I know that Oxbow's going to run, but I said that the amount that you bet on each race decreases as you lose. Yeah. So it's like I don't even know if I'm going to put anything on it. If I pick anybody, I'm going to pick a horse that ran in the Derby, ran decently, but then sat the Preakness out and was rested. Yeah, that's kind of
that's amazing.
The Belmont is a long race.
The way horse racing is now, a lot of the top horses only race 8 or 9 races
in their careers.
Yeah, and then they're done.
It's like pitchers. It's like pitchers. They don't want to hurt their arms, and they don't want to do their pitch count.
Yeah, I think we're going to have 3 different winners this year. So
It could be one of those years. And I was down here a couple weeks ago talking about a Triple Crown, but no such luck.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Just because the horses don't have a lot of experience.
The horses
when the
are
Belmont comes, what's that, 2 1/4?
It's
something like that.
Yeah, it's a mile and a half.
Mile and a half.
And it's the longest race they'll ever run. They won't run one as long as that before or after. And you got to remember, some of these horses come in, like you said, George. They may have had 2 or 3 races in their entire careers before they run the Derby, and then you have to run 3 in 5 weeks.
Unless they run in one of those steeplechase.
Or on the grass, running on the turf. And
I don't think the thoroughbreds with those skinny legs, they like to run those steeplechases a lot. But we may never see another Triple Crown winner again. Just from what horse racing has become. It's they just race the horses to get a name and put them out to pasture.
And make the money. There was a Triple Crown winner in 73, 77, and 78. And you just thought it happened all the time.
Right. Now,
but there was 3 and 4 really of the greatest horses of all time for those 3 Triple Crowns. Secretariat in 73, Seattle Slew in 77, which may be the greatest stud horse of all time. You look at lineage, and Seattle Slew's always listed. And then Affirmed, winning the Triple Crown in 1978 by that much in all 3 races against Aladar. Aladar was a great horse and didn't win 1 race.
Didn't win one race.
So
you see what can happen, but we went, what about 44, 45 years without a Triple Crown winner in baseball. Maybe we'll go that long in horse racing without one.
Maybe
and now Cabrera's going to win 2 in a row.
And it's
very,
certainly
very
looking
possible.
that way,
But the sabermetricians will tell you that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because RBIs are a counting stat.
Yeah.
I said, the minute that they stop determining who wins by how many runs you score, then I'll stop paying attention to runs. I've never understood that.
Yeah, I think I'll try mystery profile.
Okay.
Let's do it. Go ahead, George.
Sounds good, Paul. And don't forget, this is presented to you by Mattio's Pizza and Subs of Brackenridge. All right, Paul, you know how we play. We give you a $100 clue. You respond if you don't get it right. We go down in a descending figure to $75 and $25 each after that. So here is your first clue, Paul, in the mystery profile. A home run I hit off Atlee Hammaker put me in the Major League Baseball record books.
Del Murphy.
Del Murphy?
Nope.
You're in the right era.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's a good guess. But let's go to the $75 question for Paul. I was the first position player to be named Rookie of the Year and League MVP in the same season. Well, that hasn't happened too many times.
Barry Bonds.
Not a bad guess either, but incorrect. Let's get on to the $50 clue. A teammate and I were once known as the Gold Dust Twins.
It's not Dustin Rhodes.
Teammate and I were Ken Herbeck.
Boy, Paul, you're in the right era. Honest to goodness.
Right.
Well, I said that, and you said Ken Herbeck. Yeah, I gave you went wrestling on me.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to the $25 clue. I was the first player ever to be named MVP of my league championship series from a losing team. Now that doesn't happen too often either. Named MVP.
Paul Molitor. Paul Molitor.
Boy, are you in the right era. Get ready to kick yourself, Paul. We have the Tinker Toy clue coming up. My first name is Fred, and I hit the only Grand Slam in All-Star Game history.
Fred Lynn.
Fred Lynn is correct. Well, Paul, thanks for playing, and thanks for being here in our studio audience this evening. And we'll be getting a prize out
because he
deserves it.
And he gave 4 really good,
good answers,
guesses.
right from the same era. But it's actually Freddie Lynn.
Everybody he named was probably in that All-Star game.
Right.
Yeah.
The 1983 All-Star game at Old White Sox Park in Chicago. My goodness.
Amazing is amazing. Fred Lynn was a great player.
Oh, my goodness, was he good.
Paul, we talked about this. I got to see some of these. A friend of mine got it. They put out the first year of This Week in Baseball. I don't know if you knew this, George, on DVD.
No, I didn't know that.
It's out, every one. And Fred Lynn was the catch of the week on one of the ones I saw. That he made an unbelievable catch jumping over the wall and bringing the ball back and knocking himself out in the process. And think about thing about Fred Lynn was he was fearless when he went into
do,
Washington.
I know, he could do so many things well.
And he was a great player, but some of those, Paul, I'm recommending you to This Week in Baseball. It is terrific. And send me the email. I'll send you. Yeah, let me do that. I'll find it and send it where you can get it.
Vintage Mel Allen. I loved it when he narrated those games.
How about that? All right, we have a break upcoming. We have more to talk about. We have some stuff on the Penguins that I've kind of dug up here while we've been going along. Maybe a possibility of a scratch tonight, which might be very interesting to all you folks out there. So that's what we call a tease. We'll take a quick time out. We'll be back with more of the show right after this.
Is my book over there?
Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from two locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
At Tile Auto Sales in Blawnox, you have the luxury of choice where you buy your vehicle is just as important as what you buy. Call Mike Fanto and let Tower Auto Sales experienced sales staff help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle. Remember the slogan of Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. Tower Auto Sales, Freeport Road in Blawnox. You can give them a call at 412-828-6202.
And don't forget my book, Ali Kiski Sports History. It's on sale now for $19.95 at Costello's Printing in Tarentum and also at the Klingensmith drugstore chain here in Armstrong County, Leechburg, Freeport, Katanning, and Ford City. You can pick up a copy, and if you have a graduation gift you need to get coming up soon, well, hope you'll consider Ali Kiski Sports History. And speaking of the Ali Kiski Valley, we have some great news. Deer Lakes, a final score from way up north at Penn State Barron campus outside of Erie. The final, Deer Lakes 3, Fairview nothing. So, Deer Lakes will advance to the state quarterfinals in Class AA. 3-0 Deer Lakes. Congratulations to Craig Taliani and the girls.
Way to go, Lancers. Before we have an audience member that wants to ask a question. Before we do, this is from Kevin Paul Dumont of the Boston Globe. His tweet was, I would not be stunned if Julian opted not to suit up Yager for Game 2. Could you imagine Jaromir Jagr being the announcement of Jaromir Jagr being scratched in Pittsburgh in a playoff game would get the same kind of cheers as what would those cheers remind you of a scratch, George, if you remember? Tom Barrasso, when they used to announce he was scratched and the people would cheer. That would be, now I hadn't heard that, and I just picked that up right now. That's a 4-hour-old tweet, but that came after practice, after being in the locker room, and so Kevin Paul Dupont has been doing.
Because coaches will, a lot of times, they'll tip their hand from morning
and you may get an idea who stays out on the ice long after the practice, the morning skate. So I don't know, but that would be pretty funny. And like we said, I wouldn't. If they lose, they're not done. But you might want to start. Tough. Somebody might want to pre-write the obituary. Okay, we have a member of our studio audience who is here. Your name and hometown, sir.
My name is John, and Laurel Burrell.
There we go. We love Lower Burrellites, don't we?
Absolutely.
What do you got for us, John?
Well, I have a couple, a question or a statement.
Sure.
One is on the Pens, and I think psychology is a big issue in playoff games. momentum. I understand why they replaced Fleury with Volkun, because he had a bad outing, and he was let down by his teammates. Every single one of those teammates feels horrible that Fleury was yanked because of their poor play. And let's face it, I mean, he was wide open on those shots. There was no one in front of him defending the net, helping him defend the net. And then, of course, he had those freaky bounce pucks.
Yeah, some of them can't be blamed on him. Yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying the rest of the players just feel horrible about it. And Volkun didn't do bad. He did great. And I wouldn't pull him. I would pull him tonight for the psychological edge and play Fleury tonight, because I think his teammates would go out there and say, we owe you one, and tonight is going to be the night. And it has nothing to do whether Volkun is playing better or Fleury's playing. I'm just saying the psychological momentum that Fleury comes on, everybody's pumped, his teammates saying, look, we let you down, tonight is shutout night for you, We're going to give you one back. And I think Balsma kind of disregards a lot of things like that in his coaching style.
He's more of a technician, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, emotions has a lot to do with in playoff games and the 7th game of the World Series, So that's just my statement. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But.
Well, I talked about this with my buddy on the way home from Pittsburgh on Saturday. Well, we listened to the very end of the hockey game on the way back. And I said, I don't think you're going to see a change for Game 2. But if they lose Game 2, I think Fleury plays Game 3 for sure.
I think we'll certainly see Fleury in Game 3 up at Boston.
And I see your point. I think it almost depended on how they played on Saturday. I think if Bilesman felt that they, in the same thing you were talking about, that if he felt that they didn't play well, that I think he might have made the change for the emotional boost. Now I think he was to the point where, okay, I think we played all right. We didn't get a bounce here or there, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to give him one more chance. But I think we may be to the point now that he's. And I saw a couple things from some of the media members today after the practice this morning that led me to believe that we're on short leash time now. And I think you could have it. But the point you're making is good about the psychological point of it. That okay, if you do lose tonight, then you may be done. And
it might be too late. In other words, I don't want Volkun replaced because he did anything wrong.
Well, right.
He's played outstanding, but if I'm holding that emotional card and Fleury's my guy,
you're going to play it.
I'm going to play it and say, guys, you blew it for Fleury before, now make it up.
Right.
And those guys would go in there and bang.
And the thing about him is, he's good enough to win the Stanley Cup because he has.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Funny.
It's not like he's an uncharted territory.
Here's one for you guys. And we talked about this the other day. Of the 4 teams left, or the last 4 teams that have won the Stanley Cup, only one of them has the same goalie. And that's the Kings with Jonathan Quick, who won last year. The other 3 teams who won 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years ago, all playing with a different goaltender right now, which is really strange.
Unusual.
It's very weird. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the goaltending situation, George? I think that, and I'll tee it up this way for you. I thought that if they ran the table out and won and Volkun stayed in there, that Fleury's days in Pittsburgh were over.
Well, yeah, and I'm not ready to go there yet, even if Volkun handles it and go all the way to the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Because you have a, 36-year-old goaltender?
Right. And
then if they bring somebody up from, one of the guys up from Scranton Wilkes-Barre to be the backup to Volkun, boy, I think you need a little bit more. But Tab Douglas, who used to work with us down at the old WKPA,
and he knows his
stuff on 93.7. He's been beating the drum several times that if Volkun carries the Pens to the Cup, that they could get something, trade Fleury to Colorado for the #1 draft pick. And Patrick Waugh is now the head coach of the Colorado Rockies. He's a big goaltending guy. He's French-Canadian, and you would think he would be interested. Now, they'll probably have to give a little more than Fleury to get that #1 pick.
Very interesting thought. Here's my thing, is that as we go into this offseason, depending upon what happens one way or the other, there's going to be salary cap issues here. And the cap is going to go down $8 million, and they have people to sign. They have Letang to sign. They have Malkin to sign. And if you've gotten to the point where Fleury isn't your clear-cut #1 anymore, that's a $5 million backup against that salary cap. And that's not going to cut it. And they're going to have to trim him somewhere. And that's why I had made that jump. But you can't go there yet because you don't know how this is going to finish. If Fleury comes back in, as John suggested, plays well here, even if they don't win, but really regains his spot, then, you know, he's 10 years younger than Vokoun, basically. You know, he's a guy that you're going to go forward with. But they got to get him over that emotional hump of how his playoffs have been in the last few years, and they haven't been good enough. And that's why they went out and got Vokoun in the first place. So, you know, it's an interesting dilemma that they face right now, and they may have backed themselves into a corner when they made the change to begin with, but they really had no choice at the time.
Oh no, I could see the change.
That was the emotional thing that you went through. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
They needed a shot.
They needed a shot, and he gave it to him. And I think Fleury could give him the other shot. Now
I don't disagree.
Because I think this is a must-win game, to be honest with you.
I think it
Close as a must-win.
we said before we went on the air, it's not a must-win game, but it's a must-win game.
Also, another comment, gentlemen. Does it trouble you to see so many strikeouts?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 61 years old. I've seen it. I go back to, you know, the 60s when I was a kid and hearing Mazeroski hit the ball. So I've seen great players over the years in different eras. And, you know, everybody has their ups and downs. Sure, you're going to get a few bad weeks. I mean, everybody did. We're all human beings. But to sit there and strike out, you go 4 for 5 and you strike out 4 times. How does that happen?
And it's not just the Pirates.
And you shrug it off. Oh yeah, it's everybody.
No, but I'm saying the volume
it's not a big thing now.
And I can't believe these pitchers are so great.
Yeah.
I mean, does anyone really think that any one of these pitchers today could compete with Bob Gibson or Steve Carlton or, you know, I can go on the list forever, you know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
again, the most amazing part about all this is that it's being shrugged off.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people striking up, but look at the times we hit the ball. Well, I just
I
can't
think
get
that's
over it.
Vince Scully gave a stat earlier this year that this was after April, that the 8 highest strikeout months in Major League history were the last 8.
Wow.
April of this year, the 6 months of last season, and September of the year before.
Right.
The 8 highest strikeout months in history were the last 8 months. Higher than, pick any one of those months, it's higher than any of the months that happened in the 150 years of baseball before that. They don't care anymore. Yeah. It's the sabermetricianizing of baseball, that all they're worried about is guys getting on base and every out is the same out. Well, no, it's not.
No.
Because if you hit the ball, there's a chance they might miss it, even if you hit it to someone.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
can't get on base if you strike out.
And they sit there and they let so many good pitches go by. My God, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, if I'm a hitter and I see a fastball come over the plate, honestly, whether it's the first pitch or the second pitch, I'm going for that.
And here's another number for you, John. Not to kill you all with numbers, but this is another one that just blew me away. That in the I believe it was 1983, 33% of first pitches were swung at. Okay, 1/3. Last year, 18% of first pitches were swung at. They don't swing at the first pitch anymore because everybody wants a walk. Yeah. See, it's that old thing that's the poison that your little league coaches say, walk's as good of a hit. Well, you told that to the guy that got the one at bat because you knew he couldn't hit the ball. It's like, you basically say, hey, buddy, don't swing. Just let's get 4 balls and get you on first base. To these people now, a walk is as good as a hit. Well, not with a guy on third base and 2 outs.
That's right, it's not.
It's not. Yeah. I mean, you know, if you're leading off an inning, yeah, it is. But in most cases, no, it isn't. And they don't care. They don't care if they strike out.
I mean, is it beginning as this new generation of kids being taught that from Pee Wee League now, and so when they get into the majors, that's their mentality?
I'll tell you what, I've coached the lower even recently, and the coaching and the way the kids are taught isn't all that much different than it was when we played.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We got to run.
Yeah, we got to run.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
How about a trivia question?
Let's do it.
All right, go ahead.
Want the?
We'll give you multiple choice. We'll give you
a multiple choice.
We'll give you a fair shot.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here you go, Mike.
All right. This will be number 6 on our list. Who holds the Major League Baseball single-season record for the highest pinch-hitting batting average? Highest pinch-hitting batting average in Major League history, 1 season. Jerry Lynch, Rusty Staub, Gates Brown, Ed Kranepool.
4 great pinch hitters, a lot of them swung at the first pitch.
And all left-handed.
Rusty Staub.
That is not it. Boy, he'd have been my guess. He was one of my favorite players. The other one of my favorites, Ed Kranepool, the old warhorse from New York Mets.
Yeah, I loved it.
The last of the original Mets lasted
It was
longer than
between
any of
him and Rusty
Yeah,
Staub.
well, you picked the wrong Met, I think.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Great guys, though.
Yeah. Hey, we got to run to a commercial break. We do have a caller on hold, and we'll
Thanks,
be back
Ron.
with more on Sportsline Trivia right after this.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services. Putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough.
All right, welcome back. We have a couple of calls lined up, and we have a very short time to do it, so I'm going to get to it right now. Chris is on the line. Let's go to Chris. Good evening. Welcome.
Hi, Mike. Hi, George. How are you guys?
Good.
Hi, Chris.
Okay, here's my thoughts. I think the Penguins are going to be in a dumper. I don't think they're strong enough to beat Boston.
Boy, we didn't hear you. There was some clutter in the background.
Yes.
Maybe the control room.
There
You go.
Try that again, Chris.
Yeah, please.
I think we're going to be in a dumper this year. I don't think we're going to have enough power to beat Boston. I just don't think we have it.
This is a good team. I mean, there are no wallflowers left. It's not like playing Ottawa, you know?
Yeah.
I know it's not like playing Ottawa, but I mean, it's hard to say that. I mean, we got a good run for our money. I mean, I was hoping to see Pittsburgh against Detroit, but that's not going to happen either.
No, that's Detroit's gone too. They almost erased
That must
3
be,
games
but
to a
what are
deficit.
you going to do? I mean, as far as the Pirates are going, I'd be happy if they get into second or third place.
Oh yeah,
Well,
with 82 wins at least, right?
We're good.
Yeah, at least 82 to 90 wins. I mean, that's a good thing because I mean our momentum's really good for this year. It's really a surprise.
Right. We don't want any more collapses.
Collapse Roman numeral 3.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
need that.
Right.
I don't think we're going to have a collapse. I just don't think it's going to be a total collapse. I don't think we're going to get up first place and just stay there. I think we're going to be solid in second possibly.
Yeah, and this bullpen, it's doing great. I realize that, but boy, sooner or later the bullpen has to have at least a little bit of a slump.
Yeah.
Given that for 20 years, I'd be satisfied for a second, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
believe me.
All right, Chris.
You can't be greedy. At least you got some momentum to move yourself up the ladder.
Well, yes, you can be greedy. We've been losing for so
I want to
long.
win the division. All
I
right,
know
Chris.
everybody's being greedy, but I mean, look, I mean, the Steelers have won all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to go down in the slump too, right?
Exactly. All right, Chris. Let's do a question here. What do you want? Multiple choice? Or...
Multiple choice, please.
All right, Chris, here we go.
Okay, let me try it.
Name the only pitcher to be named Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Award winner in the same year. Your choices, Chris, are Bob Feller, Bullet Bob Turley, Dean Chance, and Fernando Valenzuela.
I'm going to say Fernando Valenzuela.
And you are absolutely correct. We got
finally-
ourselves a winner tonight.
Finally got a winner. All
Okay,
right,
thank you
Chris.
very much. I
Okay,
appreciate
good
it. Have a
hearing
nice
from you,
evening.
Chris.
All right, before we close up shop, Bob's back on the line. He got the phone charged, I guess. I don't know. Bob, what's happening?
Oh, I tell you, I have really enjoyed the program tonight.
Well,
See, isn't that good to
Sam, you never get to watch. This is great.
Just don't ask for a raise, okay, please.
Thanks a lot. I
that was-
appreciate
we
it.
were
See,
plotting our strategy.
We were scheming in between the breaks.
Well, let's see where we are. You got about 3 minutes?
Yeah,
Do you have anybody else? Do you have anybody else in the audience that wants to participate, or?
You want to give it a shot? You want to ask a question? We have somebody else out there.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Nope. So it's all yours, Bob.
Okay, so Yeah,
We
let
have
me finish
people-
my quick story about the
Yeah,
baseball
about the,
when the World
commissioner,
War II
yeah,
was
yeah.
over and the guys were coming back.
The influx to Mexico.
The Mexican League was making a push for rating players, and it finally took a couple of veterans on some of the bigger teams to say, hey, look, guys, this is an American game. I mean, you could ruin the whole thing by going south. And for how long is this going to go on? So they get them to stay, and now they get the money to stay. But to get the money, they got to raise the ticket prices. So in this book that I'm reading, they were talking about the bleacher prices went up to 60 cents a seat.
Ooh.
And some of the box seats had to go up to $2.50. Like, can you imagine? Of course, I know things are different price-wise and everything, but can you imagine what it cost then? They also talked about the first Super Bowl. The most expensive ticket for the first Super Bowl ever was $12.
Wow.
And they were complaining.
Well, I think I told you the story before. The first Super Bowl that the Steelers were in against Minnesota. I got a ticket. It was a $29 face value ticket. I paid $35 for the ticket, and I was outraged. Imagine paying $6 above the stated price on the ticket. And nowadays, what the people were paying on StubHub the other night, Bob, to go to the Penguins-Bruins game was absolutely amazing.
And mine was the first year that the Penguins were in the Stanley Cup Finals. I got a call from a friend of mine, and this was going to be face value now. He says, I got to, do you want to go to Game 2 against Minnesota? I said, sure, how much? He said, $44. I said, I'm going to have to call you back. I have to think about it. Yeah. And today it would be sure, why not? But $44 in 1992, 1991 was pushing it. I did go, and it was a good thing I did because Mario scored that unbelievable goal coming right at me.
On his belly?
Yes,
Yeah.
so I was thrilled to see that. But isn't that amazing, the differences even just in that 20-year span?
Yeah. How much?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of Mario, was it a regular season game or a playoff in which he scored every possible way?
Oh,
on
5
a
ways.
face-off,
That was New Year's
penalty
Eve.
shot.
New Year's Eve, 1988. Yeah, he scored
So
even-handed,
it was
power play, short-handed, penalty shot, and empty net.
Against Chris Terreri.
Yeah, of the
New Jersey Devils. Yeah.
And he was never the same after that, Chris Terreri.
He was not. He was a little guy.
How about the goaltender that there was a goal scored on him, and he got to looking at the jumbotron, and as he was gazing up to see where he made his mistake, they put another one in. Hey guys,
okay, Bob.
I really enjoyed the show.
Well, I'm glad you did. We enjoyed it too.
Thank you for the night off.
Yeah.
Hey, anytime.
Well, you deserve it, Bob.
Yes. Thanks.
Okay,
right,
see you
guys.
soon,
Take
Bob.
care.
But people don't realize how many nights he's done these things and
Oh, my
never doesn't
goodness.
take a night off.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, we're talking, almost 40 years? Maybe a little more than 40
that.
years?
Exactly. So, thanks to the studio audience. Thanks to all the callers. Everybody in the control
Had a
room
great
out there.
time.
Bill, everybody, thank you. Billy Joe, it's always a pleasure to be here. And let's wrap it up tonight. I'm Mike Pavlik.
George Guido.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.
You're watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.